come with me to get my first mammogram. So in about 2015, during my normal OBGYN appointment, you guys know we get breast exams along with our paps and all that good stuff. And my OBGYN noticed a small tiny lump on one of my breasts. So she recommended that I actually go in and get an ultrasound just to make sure everything is good. Mind you, I do have a history where my mother and my great-grandmother went in to get cysts removed from their breasts. Not cancerous, but still had cysts on their breasts. So I mentioned that to her. She still wanted me to go get it checked. I did not enjoy the first place that I went to. You guys will hear a common theme where women who are doing these exams at these ultrasounds get really upset at you for being there if you're under the age of 40. It's like, God forbid you would even think that you have cancer, or you're wasting our time if there is not a huge lump or your nipple isn't falling apart. So I eventually go back the next year to my OBGYN and she was like, yeah, how'd that go? I told her and she was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Sent me to another location and they were much better. We did the ultrasound. I did think that my life was flashing before my eyes because the woman was doing the ultrasound and she was very quiet and she spent a lot more time on the boob that had the whatever it was at that moment in it than she did on the other one. So I was like, oh my God, I have breast cancer. So they wind up finding out that it's okay. And so we're all good. I just have this. They realize that it is right under my skin. And so it's nothing to be, worried about. They think that the one on my nipple, like by my nipple, is just like a clogged little duct. So I shouldn't be worried. So we monitor it every single year that I go. So fast forward a bit to about 2018, 2019. This is the first time that we actually see the lump, the cyst getting larger. So we're like, wait, concern. But at this point, remember I mentioned that I had discharge, but that went away. Like it was a quick, nothing. And then it was like small and went away. But my doctor was like, you know what? Let's check it anyway. So for you ladies who live in New York City, you know that it is extremely hard to get an appointment to get a mammogram. There are multiple locations throughout the city, but to get one, you have to book it in like 3, 4, 5 months in advance. So I finally booked one that's in Queens, one of the earlier ones. And I'm like, let me get this done sooner rather than later. And it's a location that I can get to. When I get to the location, you guys can see here, they quote my price. Pay attention to that. I have all the referrals, even in my appointment, all the documents they have, it says that I'll be getting a mammogram and an ultrasound. Lo and behold, I get there, I sit down, the woman doing her job asked me if I've ever had a mammogram. And I said, no, but I've had an ultrasound before, so I'm pretty used to that. She's like, oh, we only have you down for a mammogram. I said, no, I'm getting an ultrasound and a mammogram. That's been in my documents. She said, oh, well, maybe they didn't get the information from your doctor. No. Here it is. It's also listed in my form here in the form I gave you, and it's listed online, and I made the payments for it. So she says, hold on. And remember I told you they get really, you don't need to be here when they assume that you're younger. So listen to what this woman is calling to tell someone, because they already sent the doctor home and the doctor needs to review my ultrasound and look at all my imaging. Mind you, I'm coming in there with a lump that has grown and another one that's still there that they couldn't find before. But now we can clearly see. So it's not like I'm coming in for a routine checkup. I'm coming in with symptoms, which is why my doctor ordered this. Listen to what the woman tells the staff. Why does my age have anything to do with my doctor's orders or what you guys are going to provide me? What it says on the paper, what I paid for, what my doctor's orders are, is that I get a mammogram and an ultrasound. That is what I came here for. That is what I waited 3-4 months for. That is what I took off a half day of work to get here on time for. That is why I took this trek all the way over here for. So she eventually has the conversation and they say, okay, well, we're going to do this. And the doctor will, write you back tomorrow when she's back in. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, I go in for my first mammogram and you guys really hyped it up as if it was the worst thing. Like, oh my God, they squash your boobs like a pancake. It really wasn't bad for me. The only thing that was uncomfortable, you guys can see here, is that the plastic, it hit the top of my chest and that was uncomfortable. But the boob part was easy. I've heard that it's easier if you have larger boobs. If you have smaller ones, they really have to pull it in and squeeze it and all this stuff. So if you guys have that, don't be worried. If you have smaller boobs, maybe be worried. Also, if you have dense boobs, which are the ones that are like harder, you can feel when you feel inside, you can feel like little ridges a little bit. That might be a little more pressure. You'll also know, I hate to say this because it's not medical, but if you gain weight and lose weight and your boob size don't change, you likely have dense boobs, because the people who don't have dense boobs have boobs that have fat in them. And so when you lose weight, the fat also goes away, which means your boob size goes down. So whatever. Needless to say, they'll give you all that information. So the appointment went really well. I didn't have the consultation with the doctor, obviously. The nurses here were a lot better. The ultrasound techs were a lot better. I immediately left. Then they tried to fucking send me another bill because the doctor had to look at it the next day, as if that was my mistake. No, boo-boo. And then immediately after, I went right to vote. And so no excuses from anyone else.